The taste of extinction. 3 million years ago, Central Asia's Tien Shan Mountains. Rose-scented wild poison apple compote. Part 4. January 13th in Seoul. The city was like the inside of a giant dryer. Outside the window, a cold wind mixed with hazy fine dust swept between the buildings like a blade, and people walked around like ghosts, their faces buried in thick coats. The situation inside the office was worse. The system heater hanging from the ceiling hummed all morning, blowing out a hot, dry wind that took away every last drop of moisture in the air. Shu kept putting in artificial tears while looking at the monitor, but the gritty feeling in his eyes did not go away. The skin on the back of his hands was already peeling white like a cracked paddy field in a drought, and every time he breathed, the inside of his nose dried up, causing a stinging pain. More than anything, what was hard to endure was the terrible thirst rising from deep in his throat. Drinking water only helped for a moment. It felt as if his cells themselves had completely dried up. On his way home from work, Shu headed to the department store's basement food court as if possessed. Under the bright lights, he saw premium honey apples with a red, almost artificial gloss. The price of one was more expensive than an average lunch. But Shu opened his wallet as if enchanted. He felt that if he took a bite of this apple, refreshing juice would pour down his cracked esophagus like a waterfall. Returning to his studio apartment, Shu washed the apple without even taking off his coat and took a large bite. The crunching sound broke the silence. However, his expectation quickly turned into disappointment. The apple was too soft, and the juice that poured out was nothing more than sticky sugar water. There was not even a trace of the refreshing scent unique to apples, and the peel, having been modified for distribution, lingered in his mouth like tough plastic. Shu stopped chewing the apple. His thirst was not quenched. Rather, the unpleasant sweetness remaining on the tip of his tongue bothered him even more. Ah, this is really tasteless. It just feels like chewing on a radish dipped in sugar water. Shu muttered dryly and pushed the apple onto the dining table. Just then, the front door opened and Minwo came in. Minwo, with the cold outside wind clinging to the hem of his coat, glanced at Shu's dining table. That apple, it's just SOSO, right? Don't even mention it. They call it a honey apple, but it has no scent and is just sweet. I'm literally dying of thirst right now, and this just makes me more annoyed. All apples these days are like that, because they make them firm for easy distribution and unconditionally sweet. The original flavor of the apple is castrated. Looking at your face, you're not in good shape. Look at all that peeling skin. Minwo took off his coat, hung it up, and sat next to Shu. Shu, on a day like today, you don't need something bland like that. You need something really strong to wake you up. I have a course booked. Wanna go? Something so sour and rich that it'll make your cells tingle. Where are you going again? I'm too exhausted right now. I don't want to go far. It is far, but in terms of time, it's quick. The Tien Shan Mountains, 3 million years ago. The apples there are the real deal. All the apples now came from there. Shu hesitated for a moment, then grabbed Minwo's hand and stood up. The two headed straight to the basement of Yangjae Terminal. The terminal of Kronos Highway, a space-time travel service, was crowded even though it was a weekday evening. However, the 3 million years ago Pliocene line that Minwo had booked was engulfed in silence. Destination set. 3 million years ago, Pliocene, Central Asia's Tien Shan Mountains. As they boarded the capsule, blue particles condensed and AI Lewis appeared. Lewis was wearing a sophisticated butler's outfit, but his tone carried overwhelming pride in the ingredients of this era. Welcome, customer. Today, the two of you will witness the greatest mistake humanity has made in the name of taste, namely the tragedy of seed improvement. The Tien Shan Mountains of 3 million years ago show the peak of the wild, which is on a completely different level from the weak fruits of modern times. Activating the capsule's atmospheric pressure control device. Commencing time slip.